Disclaimer, this deck isn't play tested yet, and I merely just kind of threw my ideas into what's possible with this commander, but I hope it's fun anyway. I have seen some infinite combos already. I don't know if I haven't got any in here, honestly. I've just kind of chucked together, so let's go. What do it do? Garth One Eye makes 6 classic spells from Magic's earliest set, and Wizards really like showing off old stuff and old lore. He taps to make either Disenchant, Brain Geyser, Terror, Shivan Dragon, Regrowth, or freaking Black Lotus. Yes, that Black Lotus. Of course, you can only do one of each, and only when he can tap. Then on top of that, you have to cast those cards that you copied. It seems a bit slow, but hopefully this deck launches us to success. And if we blink or flicker Garth, it's a new instance of him, and we can do one of the things we chose earlier. Our goal here is to create as many Black Lotuses as possible, ramp hard, and cast tons of stuff, like lots and lots of Shivan Dragons. Ramp. We need to get Garth out as soon as possible and be able to create as many Lotuses as possible, which gives us further ramp. Farseek. Farseek allows us to search for specific types of lands, and if we run the dual lands with said types, we'll be able to get all the colors we need as fast as possible. Kodama's Reach and Cultivate both search for a couple basics, and we can choose which goes onto the battlefield tapped and which goes in our hand, fixing the colors we need. Skyshroud Claim only searches for forests, but again, as long as we have the dual forest lands, we can put those out and fix our colors. And now, since we're focusing on making as many Black Lotuses as possible, I thought it would be fun to have even more in the deck. Lotus Bloom, Lotus Blossom, Gilded Lotus, and Lotus Petal. All slight variants on Black Lotus, with Lotus Blossom being the furthest from the original. They all tap and add some amount of one color to our mana pool, which admittedly isn't ideal for casting Garth, but it'll sure help us cast our other things. Svella Ice Shaper. I just really like the concept of this guy, and it's great that the mana lists tap for any color of mana, and make a couple of those and you're golden. Plus, Svella's second ability lets you cast things for free, and if we have plenty of mana, may as well do that, right? Chromatic Lantern and Chromatic Orrery. These are extremely important for casting things earlier. Make sure you don't have to worry about your colors of mana and such, plus they tap for mana themselves. Super duper amazing in 5-color decks. Chromatic Orrery is just piece de la resistance. Flicker. To make sure we can activate Garth's abilities as many times as we like, we need to flicker him. And I'm not including this card in the deck, Deadeye Navigator, because I hate him. he's too dumb. I've had too many bad happenstances with Deadeye Navigator, so I refuse to put him in any decks. With that being said, Cloud Shift, Essence Flux, Ephemerate. All 1 mana blink or flicker spells, easy to use, easy to cast, more Lotuses. Ghostly Flicker, same here, but Flicker another thing as well. Conjurer's Closet, same thing, but it's an artifact and you do it every end step. And Thassa Deep Dwelling, same thing, but on an indestructible stick, and it happens every turn as well. And she does some other stuff too, but we're not gonna worry about that. Haste, we need to tap Garth ASAP. Haste! Burst of Speed. I think there's another card that does this better, but I can't think of it right now as writing the script. But Haste anyway. Fervor, Fires of Yavimaya, Rhythm of the Wild. More Haste, but on enchantments. 1,000-Year Elixir. Not Haste, but it acts like Haste. I just love this card. Copy abilities. Now let's make copies of the cards we just copied with Garth. I love it. Rings of Bright Hearth, Battle Mage's Bracers, and Lithoform Engine. Copy Garth's ability by paying a couple extra mana, and these all do it slightly differently, but they can do essentially the same thing. Illusionist Bracers. Just activate Garth and it copies immediately. No hassle, it just does it, and you'll be very, very happy. Mage Right Stone. Doesn't copy Garth's ability, but it will allow you to untap him and use another ability again. Super duper handy. Instant Speed. The spells Garth copies are limited to casting at whatever speed they have, i.e. artifact, creature, sorcery, that kind of stuff. Let's eliminate that and make it so we can cast things whenever we want. Wrath Capuchin, Ship's Mage, and Shimmermere. These will only allow us to cast the Black Lotus at instant speed, but that's kind of what we want here. The more Lotuses, the more spells we can cast. And I'm just speaking about off of Garth's ability, not anything else. Of course, you can do that with other Lotuses. Okay, you get it. Teferi Time Raveler. Same here, but with sorceries only, and it has that added bonus up above that everyone just loves. Vidalcan Orrery and Leyline of Anticipation. These will allow us to just cast anything at instant speed. Hello, End-Step Shivan Dragon. Protection. We can't play our deck properly if Garth and our Lotuses are gone. Let's protect him. Swiftfoot Boots, Lightning Greaves, both protect Garth and both let him wear boots. It's very fashionable these days, just so you know. Counterspell, Dovin's Veto, Fierce Guardianship, just some counterspells, you know, for some other players and such, and they're pretty darn good counterspells, might I add. Darksteel Forge, this protects our Lotuses, and that's it. Because we need them so much to cast our other stuff. Let's protect them. Retrieval. These just have one purpose. Get our win cons out of our graveyard if they're there. Garth can retrieve cards as well with Regrowth, but these just add a couple of contingencies. Call to Mind, Mystic Retrieval, Bond of Insight, and Flood of Recollection. Like I said, basic instant or sorcery retrieval with our big win cons. Nothing too fancy. Safety. We need to stay safe as much as possible. Sphere of Safety, Ghostly Prison, and Propaganda. Let's just make it harder for creatures to attack us. All good and all very annoying for everybody else, but it'll help us and protect ourselves because we don't want to be attacked very often. Removal. This section is kind of up to interpretation because Garth can already destroy most creatures. I've just chosen a few random removal spells to go in. Dreadbore, Pongify, both great kill spells for cheap, and they take care of anything, versus Garth's kill spell, which can't kill black or artifact creatures. Swords to Plowshares and Path to Exile. Classic exile spells are super cheap, and it must have in any deck that runs white, really. Plus, it gets around like all the death stuff by just exiling stuff. You know, you've played against them. They're great. Board wipes. We want Garth to stay out as long as possible, and these are some good board wipe options that'll help us do that. In Garruk's Wake and Plague Wind. Only destroys opponents' creatures, leaving us to do whatever we want. Plus, in Garruk's Wake destroys all of their planeswalkers as well. Cyclonic Rift. Do I need much explanation here? Overload the sucker and you'll be alright. Win cons. Well now, how do we win the game besides making a bunch of Shivan Dragons? Well, this deck is based on using our Black Lotuses, so let's just make a ton of those, and all of these are essentially the same and all very good, but they'll use those Black Lotuses to, deal tons and tons of damage. Blaze and Banefire. Deal X damage to something. With all our Black Lotuses mana, we can put it all into these X damage spells and kill off our opponents. In Banefire's case, if X is 5 or more, its damage can't be prevented and it can't be countered. Take that. Rakdos' Return and Crater's Claws. Same effects here with a couple of other effects. Opponents discard their cards with Rakdos' Return, and Crater's Claws will deal an additional 2 damage if we control a creature with power 4 or more. Crackle with Power, Comet Storm, and Jaya's Immolating Inferno. Deal X damage to X things, essentially. And they just get bigger and bigger the more mana we put into them. Torment of Hail Fire. Slightly different here, but it still makes opponents discard cards, sacrifice things, or lose life. I've seen this end games way more than once. Other. Okay, here are our final 3 cards that should go in this deck, and they're great, right? Dramatic Reversal. This can be used to untap Garth to make more things, and just kind of used in a pinch. Seedborn Muse. Obviously, we want our commander to untap as much as possible, and Seedborn Muse does this the best. Untap everything and make even more things. And Omniscience. This just lets us cast everything for free, and this especially helps for casting the copies that Garth makes. Every one of his answers at our fingertips. And if we have our other stuff out, it's at instant speed for free. Freaking amazing. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next video. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Hopefully this deck was good. Make sure to put in the comments below what cards would you rather put in here. Like I say, this is kind of just thrown together at the last minute because it just came out this week and I wasn't planning on it, but here it is. So hopefully you guys liked. Thank you guys so much for the support, and we will see you next Thursday.